Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pit. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. This is a video request from people on Patreon, from regular YouTube users. They want my advice on bankroll management. And I'm going to be real here. I go about it a different way. There's different ways to do it. I'm going to just tell you my list. A first rule, Winbacks. I mean, that is the basic thing. You have to win your bets. You have to be swinging 60 to 64% on bets. And listen, I don't want to be sarcastic when I start with that, but it's very, very important. But one thing that gets me really, really mad is when I see a friend, a viewer on YouTube who's making good picks, consistent picks week in and week out, and they keep losing money. That's why bankroll management is so important. Number two, bet spreads equal. Now, sometimes I will go all in. If there's a college fund game, I'm putting a big bet on it, maybe 6 digits on the game. Not 6, 5 digits on the game. But listen, most of the time I get my 4 or 5 bets a weekend and I put 500 on each game. And if you're a good gambler and if you are as good as you think you are, you're going to make money that way. Now, we all want the big nut. We all want to put in a $10,000 bet and then get paid. But most of us don't have the bankroll to do it. And also, I don't think it's that smart. Put 500, put 200, put $50 on the game. It's whatever you got. And you have to do it equally. And you don't want to go all in on one game unless it's a college fun game. But people, those of you who've been following me the last 3 or 4 years, yes, I've won a lot of money. Yes, I do talk about the heralded college fun game. But let's be real. There's 3 or 4 of them a season. The rest is grind, hard work, and you got to get it over the full 16. Next one, this goes into what I just said, 4 or 5 games a weekend. If we're talking NFL, if you're dipping in other sports, that's fine. But I focus on NFL. The NFL is where my milk and my butter is buttered. And listen, I go 4 or 5 a weekend. Those who have followed me on Patreon, have I put on more some weekends? Yes. But normally it's 4 or 5. It's a weekend with some hairy stuff. I'm going to put 3 on. But 4 or 5 bets every weekend. And one thing people say is, Lawson, your record in primetime games was phenomenal. Why don't you put bets on them? It's because there's a higher degree of variability in Thursday night games. Yes, I'll post a tip for the Patreon users on the Thursday night game. Like, I'll give you an example. 49ers at Titans last year. I picked the Titans to win in the cover. But even though they did, there was a lot of luck involved. There's a little bit of cheese involved. You know how that goes. And that's one reason why I'm not a big fan of Thursday night games. Monday night games are a little bit different. For college fun games. If you see a college fun game, break all of these rules, put the money on the line, maybe even pawn the wife's wedding ring when she's sleeping. If there's a college fun game, you have to go to extraordinary measures. But like I said, there's only 3 or 4 a season, and I don't like hyping up the college fun games too much because on any given weekend, I have 2,000 bettors on my Patreon following what I'm doing, and then 20,000 people on YouTube. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with it. So I'm always careful with the college fun games, but if you see it, you got to pounce on it. Number 5, use free play to your advantage. I know with free play, it takes a while to be able to take your money out because they put a 10x rollover. No, I want you guys being patient. I don't want you guys thinking, oh, I need this money for 10 days from now. Oh, I need this money 4 days from now. I'm going out to the club. No, I want you to be disciplined, patient. Use this as like a 4 or 5 month exercise. Yes, I do make withdrawals during the NFL season, but only 2 or 3. Only 2 or 3, even the year I made the most money in my life. I like to be patient with it. I like to let the money grow. And when you look at the NFL, you have to split it in two halves: the first 18 weeks and then the playoffs. You have to really look at it from a elongated perspective. And I know that's something that isn't popular in our society. We all want that nut right now, but you have to look at it from an elongated point of view. Yeah, so free play has been friendly to me if you're patient. 6, start with a decent amount of money. Now, we all have different financial constraints. We all have different people to support. If we're supporting ourselves, hell, that's tough enough. They charge you $10 in the United States just to walk out of the house to breathe some oxygen. So, you have to start with a decent amount. Like, if you're a first-time bettor, I would start the NFL season with $500, and they'll probably give you some like $200 and $300 of free play. That's enough to roll in the tumble and get used to it. If you're an experienced gambler, if you're trying to do this to pay bills like I am, you have to start with like $2,000, $2,500. But either way, the bankroll is something you build up, and you build it up with time. I don't like those people who say, oh, you have to bet 5% or 10% of the bankroll on every bet. Those type of rules, while they're good and they help people be disciplined, I don't think they really help, and I don't think they take into account the whole college fund aspect and the randomness of betting. So that's where I'm at. And another thing, do not bet reactively. There is nothing worse than someone who has a bad Sunday at 1 o'clock. Oh, Seattle is playing out the Broncos. Let's bet it to bet it. I don't have a read on it, but we're betting it at 4. Then you lose that game and you're digging yourself a hole, even though you've been winning money the whole year. You should have had a bad Sunday, but you're making it worse. And then the Sunday night game comes around and you're just betting it to bet it. And then you lose the Sunday night game and you're saying, fuck it, I'm betting Monday night. It can't go my way against me again. No, this game is brutal, and you have to be patient. And if you're betting reactive, if you're reacting to what other people are saying, if you aren't watching the film, if you're listening to stats, you're going to be betting reactively. And just because you lose a bet, it doesn't mean you're bad. It doesn't mean you're going to win the next one either. Each week is a battlefield. Each week is a different type of battle, man. And you just sometimes you have to stake it out with the loss. Just because you lose a battle, it doesn't mean you lose the war. But if you don't know when to cut your losses and you want to just place those bets due to reactive, your feelings because you lost a little bit of money, dude, you're going to lose the war in 1 week. You have to look at it as a long-term perspective. And the last thing I want to say, I don't like parlays. I use parlays as an exercise. I've been doing it since I was 10 years old. I started betting with my dad. Put $5, $10, $15 on a parlay. But if you're putting more than $100 on a parlay, you don't deserve to make money in this game. And simply, you aren't going to make money in this game. Everyone wants the big nut, and the parlays are the easiest way to get a big nut. But do the math. Look at the odds. I've always been good at math, but I don't like getting on here and talking about math. But just do the math on a 6, 7, 8 team parlays just for a second, and you realize it's not in your favor, and it's not something that's going to make you money long term. And you always get the people on the YouTube comments, oh, I hit a 12-team parlay. Bro, stop. And the last thing, know what you're betting. If you're going to bet over and under, stick to over and unders. But I bet the spread. Do I sometimes go money line? Yes. Have I put in an over-under bet? Yes. But over-under bets are rare for me. Money line bets are rare. I focus on the spread. The spread is my life. The spread is how my mind thinks. And you have to choose your milieu. You have to choose your lane. And you have to stay the fuck in it. Hit the like button. Share the videos. If you got any questions, leave them down below. I'll try to answer them.